Vendors unite, entrepreneurs come forth, show yourself, reveal yourself in the light, right? You know, this is more than just candy and gumballs, people. All right, troopers, freedom fighters, baby. All right, that's what it's all about. All right, and I'm excited to think about quitting my, not maybe quitting my day job, but definitely reducing my hours, right? It's the whole Quan, right? So inch by inch, mile to mile, we get there, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but all of a sudden you're working 5-6 days a week, and then what happens? You know, you're spending all this money, it's costing you all this money to live, and then you realize, you know what, maybe if I go down the street or if I go to another area, I could reduce my cost of my rent. Maybe if I stop eating out and get a glass steamer and start steaming up some vegetables, and I start eating some more easy, meals, food at my house, maybe I could save some more money. And then all of a sudden, maybe you live close to work instead of far away. Now you're saving all this time. Now you're saving all this money on gas. You're not spending your life in traffic. And then all of a sudden, reduce that bill. And all of a sudden you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't need as much money as I did before. Maybe I could actually live. Maybe I don't need $5,000 to live every month. Maybe I only need $2,000, right? And now you're like, okay, well now my freedom number has reduced significantly. Do I need $5,000? Do I need $10,000? This isn't about making $100 million. This is about how can I quit my day job? That's really, I just want to get out of the birdcage, right? I don't need to be rich. And so it's like, okay, well, now that I reduced everything, okay, well, how much do I make per shift on average? And then, okay, so if I only need $2,000 to live, I make 300, 369, 12, 15, 18. That's like 6 shifts divided by a month. Maybe I only need to go in there about weekends. And then you're like, okay, well, now I'm setting up all these candy machines. Okay, well, if I get to 100, maybe I'm making 1,000, 1,500, $2,000 every month. Well, right there alone should be able to cover my bills. I'm working on another side hustle, right? And I'm thinking, okay, well, if I, sell my cereal, Corey's from their cereal, $5 a bag, right? Send them up at local shops. Okay, well, if I sold 300 bags a month, it sounds like a lot, but then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, if I had 30 locations that held on to my, even, let's just say 30 for easy numbers. Okay, 30 locations, and I gave them 10 bags each. Now they need to sell 10 bags in a month. That's like 2.5 bags a week, right? And then all of a sudden I can make like $1,500. Okay. So if I got 30 locations to hold my cereal and broke it down where they got 10 bags each in a month, and then I sold them out in a month, which seems pretty easy. It's 2.5 bags a week. Well, then I make $1,500. If I get 100 candy machines, I make $1,500 a month. Say 1,000, right? I'm at 2,500. Right there alone, with reducing all my costs, I can work the weekends, and now you're telling me I have just more than enough cash? Sounds pretty sweet to me, bros. Forget those 5 or 6 days a week, right? All I need to do is work on my side hustles. You reduce the amount of time you're lollygagging, running around, right? Living life in traffic, and now it buys that time to work on those side hustles, right? You reduce your cost so you can work on your side hustles, right? One of my coworkers, Captain Lenley, shout out, what up? Hope you're feeling better. The guy, kills at, where I work, except I haven't seen him in like a month, 2 months, and I'm thinking, does this guy still work here? What happened to him? I guess I don't know if he fell down the stairs or something, but he broke his foot, which, God, it sucks so bad. But on top of that, think about it. Guy's out of work. he can't, at least out of this work, which is what he does, right, primarily, for a couple months. What would you do? You know, you're living off sick pay, injury pay, off the government. You know, do you get a sales job so something that you can, you know, do something without a foot? I don't want to be in a position to where I can't operate or do my job. Like, what if I broke my foot and I can't go to my work, you know? Well, hey, guess what? If I was doing my side hustles, like setting up my cereal, and I was doing the candy machines, guess what? I can do that without a foot, right? I don't want to be able to, if I get in trouble at work and I say the wrong thing, I get shit canned, right? I want to be like, oh, hey, man, that really sucks. You know, I do like this job. I do like the source of income. I don't like getting taxed about 40% a month, right? But at least I could say, hey, do I have nothing? No, I have this, right? And this can sustain my living, right? So, you know, it feels good. And that's why I'm making it a point to branch away from work and to spend more time on the side hustles. And I advise you to do the same, right? So do what I just said, okay? Because that's what I'm doing, and it's working. Anyways, let's check out the new location. I'm pretty excited. Oh, by the way, this new location, which is sick, by the way, and I wasn't sure about the red that I put in there until I saw the red seats and the red logos and everything, and I was like, oh my God. No, black does not make any sense. Red pops, all right? I worked my ass off yesterday doing a little switcheroo. I had to go put a used grayish black candy machine at a lesser location instead of losing the location completely, which I would be okay with because it's not generating that much money. It's making more money than the candy machine sitting at my house. And the thing is, on some of these, I mean, I bought that candy machine for $30. I polished it up. It looks like it's worth like $75 now, right? I mean, I put in some like nice quality work. And the thing is, it's presentable enough to put at certain locations. And that's why you got to be a strategist, right? And so I knew that one had a pretty good Rhino red, and that I could use for a better location, like this barbershop. I'm not gonna put a $30 machine in this barbershop, right? I could use that at like a tire or like a collision center, right? Where they don't give a fuck, and I don't really either, because it's one of my grade F, D- locations, right? I'm not saying I'm not putting in good work. They still have I just put in a triple candy on that machine. They got peanut, like M&Ms, they got Skittles and Starburst jelly beans. Like, they're still hooked up. Anyways. And then I came home after the switcheroo, and I was having the worst time trying to set up this candy machine with the lock situation. Another thing is, my keys are somewhat organized. They're in a container, but they're not labeled. They seriously need to be labeled, like where they go. I'm still trying to like work that out, but it's got to get done, because guess what? I show up to that machine to try to open up this machine that I'm going to show you, and I'm trying out 20 different keys and nothing's working. One eventually worked, and I started questioning. I'm like, this has to be it, but it didn't work on the top. And I was like, oh man. And the good thing is, since I have that skill and that knowledge, I went home, and all of a sudden I'm like trying to put in all these locks. Nothing's working. And then I go get more locks at Home Depot, and I'm thinking, and I'm sitting there for hours trying to put these locks in, and for some reason it won't lock. And I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I gonna do? You know, I can't believe this is taking so long and that I can't figure it out. And that's when I realized that it wasn't the lock, it was the machine. And that, because I had another Rhino right next to it, like a worn out red one, and so I practiced on that and it worked. So I started looking at that one and thinking, what is different than this one? And I saw that there was more of a gap, and there was a bent to the place where the lock goes in on the top, on the inside. And so I started tinkering with that, and I started replicating and making it look like that one. And then guess what? The lock worked. It started raining. I was out there sitting in front of my porch for hours, and then it took so long I didn't even get to this location. So here I am in the morning. Anyways, let's go check out the new location. I got things to do. Where are we? Oh, there's definitely one thing I want to point out, and that's that this location, just like the last one I set up, was saved under is not interested, right? That means I called them, I pitched them, and they told me to fuck off. Now, they didn't actually tell me to fuck off, right? They just said, no, we're good, or whatever they said, right? The guy is actually really cool. The shop is nice, and I'm just the point is, this is already several locations that have told me no, and when I went there in person, everything has changed, right? Because when I went in there, like, and this is about being proactive. I got just like when I finished setting up that last barber shop, I was cruising down. It was late at night, and I saw this place, and guess what I did? I did one of my famous Corey U-turns, right? Because I'm all spracked looking at all these different shopping centers. And so I make this U-turn, I come in here, and I see that they have a gumball machine, a single head. And does that stop me? No, it actually motivates me, right? Because now I'm thinking, okay, well, they're willing to have vending, right? And so I just went in there and I told the guy, I was like, hey, I noticed you got this gumball machine. Would you like a candy machine, a triple head quarter candy machine, peanut butter M&M's, Starburst, Skittles, jelly beans. Gave him, the rundown, and then I'm showing him the photos, and the dude gets so excited. He's showing his buddy, his coworker, and I mean, it felt really good that, and he's just like, yeah, when can you come set it up? And so here I am. Anyways, let's take a look real quick. Gots to go. I do like the pinstripe. Pretty cool name. And then look at this. You got this lounge area, which looks so much sweeter. The only thing is, we got moonwalkers. We got a shop right here. Everything is, you can see it. There's a whole trim back there that's black and focused on red. And look at these seats. These seats are all red and silver. I was almost thinking of getting my, like the more I think about it, getting my red with the silver chrome trim would just pop so hard in here. But there is a lot of black. So the black and red kind of make sense. The only thing that I'm bummed about, that I'm seeing if what I can do is get a replacement tongue right here. I'm not sure if my machine was like this or if they broke it off on the last place. But yeah, I mean, nonetheless, I feel like the machine still looks pretty good, right? I don't know. I feel like that the inside could get polished a little bit more. Maybe I should have thought about that before. It's hard to tell when you're working in the dark. Outside of that tongue, everything still looks really nice. We got peanut M&Ms, we got Skittles, and we got M&Ms for this round. And once again, I'll see what's popular, what sells, and what doesn't. And then what doesn't, I'll replace with something else. The nice thing is, this place is so local to my house that I can come here anytime. And then, of course, I do have my... which I'm putting on all my machines.